Ambassador Gina Winstanley, former U.S. Ambassador to the Republic of Malta. Welcome, Ms. Gina. So when Trump is saying that the war can not stop unless Iran or he's demanding unconditional surrender for Iran. So how do we understand this, and is this actually being able to be implemented right now, as now the Iranian regime is defying now the US?
Indeed. Thank you so much for having me. Well, we understand from the White House spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, that it is the president who will determine exactly what unconditional surrender means. This is his position today, but we have seen over the last nearly 7 days now in the United States that the position changes. It started off as regime change, then simply having the nuclear program, the missile program, and the ability to support proxies. The position changes. So Caroline Leavitt said he will determine when unconditional surrender has been achieved, and it will be based on his views as opposed to what the Iranians do. So that leaves a lot of space for interpretation and definition of what success looks like. It is the challenge right now for the American people because we aren't sure what success looks like to the administration.
Who is now leading this confrontation? Is it Israel or the US? If it is the US, and if the US is talking about now the end of Iranian ballistic missiles and the nuclear program, and now Trump sometimes he talks about thwarting the Iranian regime or changing its leaders. So, how do we understand this contradiction now and the statements pronounced by Trump at each stage?
That is the challenge. I will say that at this point, U.S. and Israeli goals are aligned. The United States has moved from its initial position, which was the desire for a deal that clearly made sure that the Iranian government would not be able to acquire nuclear weapons. That was the initial U.S. position. That was the deal that President Obama got, and one that President Trump wanted to do better on. Now, of course, we have heard various American officials, including the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense, our Pentagon chief, reiterate the Israeli goals, which included destroying the missile program and ensuring that Iran could not support proxies that might attack Israel in future or American forces in the region. So right now they are aligned. That remains to be seen how long they will be aligned. There's a great deal of support for this war in Israel. There is not a great deal of support for this war in the United States. So the calculations that the two leaders must make as they go forward are very different indeed.
So Iran now and during the past period, they were actually targeting many Gulf countries in addition to the assets in the Gulf. And they are basing now to pressure these countries in order to push Washington to negotiate in a different way this time. Do you think that Iran will be able to do this in its strategy with Washington at this point?
Well, there is the ability of the Iranians to carry out asymmetric warfare. It's clear that the United States is having, and Israel, is having a great deal of success with striking targets, both online, headquarters, military bases, political leaders, and we see great damage done to their navy. So we've also noted that the volleys of missiles coming from Iran are decreasing as time goes on. So the impact is clear. The president believes, and I think with good reason, that the military effort so far is having success. But asymmetric warfare does not depend on large missiles, even drones, or a navy. An insurgency could be carried out. It may require the president to really consider boots on the ground. We've heard him say that that is a possibility, but we also know that it would be something very unwelcome by the American people. So Iran does have still options ahead of it in order to prosecute a defensive war that would require boots on the ground in order to see it through from the United States or from Israel's side. Again, this would be very unwelcome by the American people.
America. Thank you so much, Ambassador Gina Winstanley, former U.S. Ambassador to Malta from Washington. Thank you, Ambassador.
Okay, thank you.